Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Madison Paige, and let's just jump into the video. So today's video I'm going to be doing the bisexual tag. My sexuality is a huge part of who I am, just as being a YouTuber is a huge part of who I am. But the two have never really been connected, except for in my coming out video, which I posted 2 years ago. I really wanted to bring LGBT back into my channel. So anyways, I scoured the internet trying to look for a bisexual tag, but it turns out an official one doesn't exist. So I went and watched a whole bunch of made up ones by bisexual YouTubers and took some of their questions. Let's just get into it. Are you gay, lesbian, or bi, or any other sexuality that has come about since then? I am bisexual and I am also demisexual. When did you know that you were bi? I see a lot of tweets on Twitter that are like, gay culture is this, lesbian culture is this, blah blah blah. But I saw one that made me hysterically laugh for at least 5 minutes. Which was bi culture is thinking you're a lesbian until such and such makes you realize you're not. And that's pretty much exactly how it was for me. I spent a solid portion of my childhood thinking that I was a lesbian. I started dating boys when I was around 12 or 13, but that was more or less because, that's what you were supposed to do. It wasn't really until I actually felt more than a mild interest for a dude that I kind of realized that I like males and females. So I guess the first time I felt love for a dude was when I was 17. So I guess I knew officially when I was 17. Who was your sexual awakening? Because I knew that I liked girls from a really young age. I didn't really have a sexual awakening. My crushes around the time of sort of realizing and solidifying the fact that I liked males and females were Transformers era Megan Fox, One Tree Hill's Sophia Bush, Raw era Katy Perry, Pirates of the Caribbean era Orlando Bloom and Keira Knightley and Johnny Depp. I'd say probably the fact that I was attracted to both Orlando Bloom and Keira Knightley kind of was like a sexual awakening, kind of made me realize, I'm attracted to both. Who have you told? Literally anyone who will listen. Like I said, my sexuality is a huge part of who I am, and I tend to word vomit my entire life story onto people, including the fact that I am bi. Are you taken? No. How did you come out? On Facebook, in a really long and weird status that ended with, oh, and by the way, I'm bi. I've talked a lot about it recently, about how I kind of wish I could come out all over again. I feel like I'm better than a Facebook status. I also feel really bad saying stuff like that, because I know that there are queer people in the closet who would give anything to be able to come out, but because of the situation that they're in, or just own personal fear, they can't. So I feel a little bad being ungrateful about the way that I came out. But yeah, I came out on Facebook to the world. My family kind of I never really came out to them, but I kind of did. My mum and I are very close, so I was talking to her for years about how I was attracted to females. And then my dad was just my dad. How old were you when you came out? It was the year that I turned 18, but I was still 17. How have others made you feel about your sexuality? They don't really give a shit, to be honest. In my town, it's more of a don't ask, don't tell situation, where no one really gives a shit about your sexuality. My sexuality it is what it is, and Nobody really gives a shit, including me. What were the reactions of the people around you? So again, I live in like a don't ask, don't tell town, so nobody really cared. My mum, you know, I'd been talking to her for years. She didn't really care. My dad got a bit upset, not because I was bi, but because of how I told him. I don't know, I kind of like forgot that because my mum knew for so long, I kind of like didn't really realise that my dad maybe didn't know. I don't know what he knew or what he didn't know, because I just sort of turned around to him one day when he was driving me home, and I was like, so you don't mind that I'm bi, right? And he's just like, no, I don't care, I love you no matter what. But my mum informed me later that he had phoned her quite upset about the way that I said that question, because to him that was like me coming out, and I sort of said it quite bluntly, and I don't know, he was upset about how I said it or something like that, I don't know. So that's like the biggest reaction that I got, and that wasn't even to my sexuality, it was the way I said it. Have you ever felt like you were a victim of hate? No, I mean, on my status there was this one girl who was kind of being a dick about it, but she's part of the LGBT community as well, and like, she was being a dick, but like, she was joking. I didn't find the jokes funny at the time, but like, now I don't really give a shit, or something along the lines of like, fuck, I don't remember, I just remember that she was being a dick. But like, it was high school, and people were dicks about everything in those days. They still are. High school's a bag of dicks. Did you know from a young age? I knew from a young age that I was attracted to girls. I did not know from a young age that I was attracted to guys and girls. How long was it from the time that you knew to the time that you came out? A year? Around about a year? Something like that. Do you feel being queer has changed your views on discrimination? No, I'm not a huge fan of discrimination in any form, and that's got nothing to do with me being queer, it's just who I am as a person. What would you like to see done to change how the queer community is treated in your country? I can't speak for the whole country, because I haven't experienced, you know, how the queer community is treated all over the country. I've only experienced two places, which I will talk about. So the first place is here, which is my hometown, Hawke's Bay. And here, as I've already mentioned, it's more of like a don't ask, don't tell situation. And like, I didn't really mind that until I moved to Wellington and saw the complete difference there. Like in Wellington, you can't walk like 5 steps without seeing like something rainbow. It's like a street decoration, or like in a shop window, or just a person wearing something rainbow. There's even been talks, I don't know how serious they are, of a rainbow like pedestrian crossing being put in, and the street lights are drag queens. Also in Wellington, they have an actual, you know, pride parade. There are gay bars, I mean, it's just way more inclusive in Wellington, whereas in Hawke's Bay, I don't know if there's like a queer community at all. If there is, it's not as big of a deal as it is in Wellington. I went to a drag night here in Hawke's Bay once, and there's like a youth group, but that's kind of it. Another thing that I've noticed is in Wellington there are so many openly queer people and queer couples. I remember being shocked at how many queer couples I would see walking down the street just holding hands or making out or whatever, because that does not happen in Hawke's Bay. I've been home for over 6 months and I have not seen a single like noticeable queer couple. So I wish the vibe of Wellington and the way that Wellington treats its queer community could be spread out across the whole country. Are you comfortable with telling people you're bi? Yeah, as I said at the start, I tell almost anyone who will listen. Yeah, I'm very comfortable with telling people who I am. Have you always felt this way? I guess yes, just not consciously until I was like in my mid to late teens. And has your sexuality changed? Technically, yes, because for most of my childhood I thought I was a lesbian. But then, you know, I realised I was bi. I also didn't realise that I was demisexual until recently. Well, no. I knew I was demisexual, I just didn't know that there was a word for it. Also, in my coming out video, I did say that I was gender fluid. At the time I was. However, now as I've grown and I've discovered myself more, I have discovered that I am just a girl. Before I get people commenting that sexuality and gender are two different things. I know. I just wanted to say that because it's in my coming out video that I'm gender fluid, and at the time I was, but now I have just realised that I am a girl who is, if anything, just a tomboy girl rather than gender fluid. But at the time I was exploring my gender, and now I have found myself, so I thought I'd just update you guys on I am no longer gender fluid, if that makes sense. But yeah, that has been the bisexual tag. I'm hoping to do more LGBTQIAD+ content on this channel. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below rainbow. Work it into a sentence to let me know that you've watched this entire video. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, tap the bell notification to be notified every time I post, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!